What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Off the Schneid. Today we're taking a look at the New Orleans Saints, talking about their draft needs heading into the 2021 NFL Draft post-free agency. This could be the year. This could be the transition year for the Saints. Obviously, Drew Brees has retired. They will wait to make it official till June 1st, I believe, when they can save a little bit more money to the against the cap. So who's going to be the starter? Is it Jameis? Is it Taysom? I think we're going to see a combination of both. We'll see. Taysom Hill's contract is a strange one. I don't know. I think we'll see a combination of both guys, to be honest. We saw a bit of it here and there last year. You can move on from one or the other if you need to. You know, if it doesn't go your way, things aren't going your way. I suspect that Taysom Hill actually will be the starter. You know, I do suspect that. We'll see. But that's my opinion of it. You know, he can do a lot of things. He can run the ball. They're going to have to run this offense a little differently this year. I obviously, that's no secret. They're going to have to run this offense a little differently, which is, there's been a lot of talk about Latavius Murray getting traded. I have no idea why you'd want to trade Latavius Murray from this team. Like, it doesn't make any sense with what you need to do as an offense, in my opinion. I think you're absolutely going to need a guy like Latavius Murray to complement Alvin Kamara, who's one of the best running backs in the game and can do so many different things and is super dangerous. But you need a guy, in my opinion, like Latavius Murray. So I don't see him going anywhere personally. As far as, let's go tight ends, I think Adam Troutman is actually going to be the guy here, the starter. Jared Cook's obviously gone. I think that Troutman is he was my, I think, tight end 2 last year. He fell to them. He played well when called upon. I think he's going to end up being that starter. Nick Vannett is more of a rotational guy. They could look to add a tight end at some point in the draft, you know, a couple third-round picks, fourth-round pick there, even a little later potentially. But I think Troutman's capable. I think he can be quality. Wide receivers, Michael Thomas, you know, should be that guy again. It's hard to say how he's going to look without Drew Brees throwing him the ball. Drew Brees was very accurate with him. And I know for a fact that Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston are not as accurate as Drew Brees. So is it going to be the same? I don't know. I still think Michael Thomas is absolutely one of the best wide receivers in the game. It's just a matter of, you know, if it's going to kind of be able to show with the quarterback play. We'll see. Next guy for me that I really like is Deontay Harris there. I think his speed, and he's dangerous out of the slot. He can do a lot of things, just get the ball in his hands type of a guy. I think beyond that, they're going to need some help. I think you know what you have with Traquan Smith and Marquez Callaway. I think you know what you have. They might take that next step. Maybe. I mean, I guess you can see, but I think you're going to need to add some help again. Maybe third round picks. There's 2 third-round picks there. So you could add a weapon there for one of or both Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. Offensive line is in a very good spot, as it has been for quite some time. Teron Armstead's great. Andrus Peat, great. Ryan Ramczyk, one of the best in the game. I think that there's a potential for a trade for Ryan Ramczyk if you feel like you might lose him next year. So we'll see. I've floated that name out there a couple times for teams looking for a right tackle where a trade could materialize. I don't know. We'll see if I end up making that in my mock draft, making that happen in my mock draft. Look out for that coming in the next couple weeks. They do have a reasonable amount of depth. James Hurst, Will Clapp, Calvin Throckmorton. Reasonable amount of depth, but they're probably going to add someone somewhere. I say it in almost every single one of these: offensive line, defensive back. You have to add at least one in every single draft. So there you go. There's the offense. We'll move over to the defensive side of the ball, where losing Trey Hendrickson, I think, is a big thing, but they do have some pieces that they did add a piece as well that I think can help out and help ease that. Cam Jordan, one of the best in the game, and still the captain of this defense, and absolutely a stud. So that's covered. Carl Granderson had 5 sacks last year. He could be a guy that steps in there and kind of takes over with more opportunity. He could be that guy, and if he gets up to 8 sacks this year, then he is that guy. K-Pass comes over from the Chiefs. I think he is capable. His stats haven't exactly always been there, but he's a quality player. So we'll see how he does with this shift in defensive. It's not really a huge shift, actually. It's a somewhat similar defense. So, he should be fairly comfortable. Marcus Davenport has got to take the next step. They traded up to get him in the first round. What was it, 2-3 years ago? He has to be that guy. He has to take that next step. If not, I feel like they absolutely just move on from him. Wash your hands. It is what it is. You win some, you lose some. So they could add a pass rusher as well. I think the interior of the defensive line is much more of a need. David Onyemata is fantastic. He's fine there. Shai Tuttle and Ryan Glasgow, sure, could be depth guys, rotational guys, whatever. But I think they should add a big body to help out if they can find one, if it makes sense with their capital. Might be a little later in the draft, but we'll see. Linebacker, I think, is in an okay spot. I'm a huge Zach Bond fan. I actually had the Saints taking Zach Bond in the first round of my mock draft last year. Ended up getting him in the third. So huge value there, in my opinion. I really am a fairly big fan of Zach Bond. I think he's going to be very good in this defense. Demario Davis, 32 years old. He can definitely still get the job done. I don't think he's missed a game in his career, actually. He can absolutely still get the job done, but 32 years old, and they're going to need some depth regardless. So, I think linebacker is still a place of need. I think it was a huge need last year, and I think I wouldn't say just as big, but it's a big need as well. They lost Alex Anzalone, so that hurts. So they'll look to shore that up in the draft, I believe. Corner is another big need for me. Marshawn Lattimore is still there, and he can get the job done, and that's basically it. Patrick Robinson's 33 and might get cut, and just depth. Grant Haley, maybe he's a guy, but you got to let him play and I guess kind of see what you get out of him. So they got to add some corner help and some defensive back help in the draft. I think safeties are in an okay spot. Malcolm Jenkins, he's not what he used to be, but he can still get the job done. Marcus Williams comes back on the franchise tag, and then CJ Gardner-Johnson's there as well. So they're okay at safety, but corner is an absolute need. And we'll see. It's either, I feel like, there might be a trade for Ramczyk. Like I said, they brought back Marcus Williams on the franchise tag. Ramczyk's on the last year of his contract. Are you going to be able to bring both back next year? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. So do you just kind of preemptive make a trade for Ryan Ramczyk? I don't know. It's not likely that you trade Marcus Williams on the franchise tag, maybe it's not exactly smart to be trading Ryan Ramczyk, one of the best tackles in the game. So I don't know. They're in a weird spot. They're up against the cap. They should be able to get rid of some contracts, and obviously Drew Brees' contract and stuff like that for next season. Cap probably goes up, so maybe they can keep both those guys. But it's just, they're in an interesting spot, and this could be the season where that transition takes place from being a contender every year to slowing down, falling off, being mediocre for a couple of years type of thing. I don't know. I haven't decided and finalized my thoughts about the Saints, especially with what they're going to do in the draft. I don't particularly suspect that they move up. I think that they're just going to take what the draft gives them. They have a reasonable amount of capital there with their first round through fourth round selections. So they can plug some holes if they hit on, at least half of those picks. If they bring in at least 2 guys that can play right now, then they might they might not fall off at all. We'll see. But there you go. There's your breakdown for the New Orleans Saints. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out, and we'll see you on the next team breakdown.